Behind barricades and razor wire in a city frozen with fear, Derek Chauvin's murder trial nears its end.
We were told, for example, that Mr. Floyd died because his heart was too big. The reason George Floyd is dead is because Mr. Chauvin's heart was too small.
George Floyd was...
Prosecutors summarizing their case to the jury described Chauvin as a controlling cop without compassion who deliberately pinned Floyd under his knee until his dying breath.
He stayed on top of him, continued to push him down, to grind his knees, to twist his hand, to twist his fingers into the handcuffs that bound him.
Drawing a line for jurors that it's not a trial against all police, just against a bad cop.
This wasn't policing. This was murder. The defendant is guilty of all 3 counts.
Civil rights leaders like Jesse Jackson and others here in Minneapolis to witness a verdict for George Floyd, a powerful symbol of a brutal pattern of policing in Black America.
This country must come to terms with those that feel that blue uniforms makes them above the law and blue jeans makes them subject to the law.
In his defense, Chauvin showed his face, maskless, when his lawyer counseled the jury there's no crime if an officer used reasonable force given what he knew at the time.
You have to look at it from the reasonable police officer standard. You have to take into account that officers are human beings, capable of making mistakes in highly stressful situations.
But on the street, the expectation is that Chauvin must pay for cruelty.
That is not an intent to purposefully use unlawful force.
Mike Myers was outside the court, listening, watching, and waiting.
If we can't get justice here, it would be disheartening to everyone all over the country who's African American and have no expectation of justice.
And Susan, there was one last important moment at the very end of court today. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, after the jury retired, the judge weighed in on comments by a Democrat congresswoman here this weekend who said if there's no guilty verdict, demonstrators like this should get more confrontational. That kind of interference, said Judge Cahill today, could be a gift to the defense if they choose to appeal, an indication of the tension here, Andrew.
Okay, lots of people waiting and watching. Susan Ormiston, senior correspondent in Minneapolis tonight. Thank you.